Hello, Arsenal are through to the fifth round of the FA Cup after a 2-1 win over Burnley. Should probably start with a quick shout out. My mate Cam the Weasel, always giving me predictions for the Arsenal games, always wrong. This time, much to my disbelief, they got it absolutely right. And I suppose we should have guessed really, because this is a Burnley side in terrific form who've been scoring a lot of goals on the road. And indeed, they did trouble us all throughout the game. But Arsenal, a division above, almost exactly, both teams third in their respective leagues, had enough to get through in the end. And that's despite considerable rotation. I think as big a positive as a result really is the fact that we got several players back from injury. Francis Coquelin returned to the starting 11, Alexis Sanchez the same, and coming off the bench we had Thomas Rosicky and Mikel Arteta. The squad now looking much, much healthier than it was just a matter of weeks ago. On the day that Rosicky returned to action, his first appearance of the season, it was somewhat fitting that the goal we scored to take the lead was very much of his flavour, really, of his style. Callum Chambers finishing after a very neat through pass from Alexis Sanchez, beautiful outside of the foot finish, and it's one Rosicky would have been very proud of watching from the sidelines. But Burnley got back into it, a cross swung high from the right, not closed down quickly enough, and Sam Vokes rose above the surrounding defenders to head powerfully past Ospina, and it was no less than they deserved, really. Andre Gray, a real handful on the day. I mean, he's a bit raw, but he's very quick, and he really tested our defenders. I think probably on balance, it was a good thing that Per Mertesacker was suspended, because it meant we had the pace of Gabriel and Koscielny, who were both able to help deal with Gray. But 1-0 at half-time, very finely poised, but we had a player to make the difference in the shape of Alexis Sanchez, and that was a great goal. A sweeping counter-attack. Alex Iwobi charging upfield, playing a neat pass through. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on the right-hand side. He crossed low, and Alexis swept his finish into the top corner. I thought Iwobi was a big positive today. He too reminded me of Rosicky in some ways. Constantly positive, constantly trying to drive forward, trying to make things happen. Worked very hard too, very intelligent passing. And not afraid to try and commit defenders, try and take people on. And create a bit of havoc in the penalty area. I really like him. I think he's an interesting prospect. And when you consider that Arsenal could have used a more senior player like Alexis or Oxlade-Chamberlain through the middle and put Iwobi on the flank, but instead chose to put the Nigerian as the number 10, as the key playmaker in the side, despite his tender years, I think that tells you something about the esteem in which he's held at the club. So we saw it through in the end. What else to say? Well, El Neni made his debut. Boundless energy, even in stoppage time. He was right up there alongside Theo Walcott, who arguably should have squared for him to tap home an easy third. His passing, a little hit and miss, but seems intelligent in possession, good movement, and just loads of stamina, bags of energy. And I think that's obviously going to be helpful to us as the season approaches its climax. But yeah, fantastic to have some injured players back. It's fantastic to be through in the hat for the next round. Let's hope for another home draw. And credit to Burnley, who I thought were good today. Be something of a surprise not to see them in the Premier League next year, which is always a bit galling when you consider that Joey Barton's among their ranks. But there you go. Arsenal through. Speak to you on Tuesday after the Southampton game in the Premier League.